What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And today was again a very flattish day, especially from an index perspective. I just took one trade, straight ka breakdown. I will just post it by tomorrow morning. So you will get this breakdown. So essentially put, I had like 33%, 33,000 ka PNL today. And majority of that was Nifty, followed by a few trades in NTPC and flattish trades in Infi and M&M. So I will break down this entire trade for you. But for now, let's quickly get started with the stocks that we're going to be tracking for tomorrow. So the first one on the list is PTC India financials. So I think a very, very good base setting up with almost dried up volumes. Catalyst coming up, 7th May earnings. So I think this could be a big one for PFS. Axis Cades is one such stock that we've been keeping on our radar for a long period of time. And I think the base build-up is complete. So I think there could be a strong move coming in here as well. Next up, I think Mahalakshmi Ruptech. Now, this is like an order block play. Stock coming into very interesting areas of demand. So there could be some action here. Again, not the best one because the stock is already up 4%. Trading a little higher away from the demand areas. So again, not the first choice, but there could be some action. Next up is Maral Overseas, which is again creating this similar structure. So you've seen that, we like to trade this kind of a structure, especially when the stock has moved up and then it's kind of, come down and then it's just started to create like a contraction structure. This is like a very good play where we can expect some kind of a reversal. So again, an interesting one. Next up is JSW Infra, and I think this is one name which could be, very active because there are earnings, I think, coming up. I'll just check. So 3rd of May, which is tomorrow, earnings are coming up. The street is expecting a good quarter. So I think JSW Infra could be in focus. ACL Gati, which is a logistics company. Now, logistics is actually in focus because I think VRL Logistics, I have not added that name over here. I'll just quickly pick up VRL Logistics and I'll show you both these logistic companies together. So ACL Cargo Gati, All Cargo Gati is, setting up really nicely, forming a nice base. Stock has been beaten down because the logistics industry as a whole, we've seen TCI Express, we've seen Gati, we've seen VRL, not really outperforming the market. But now if I open up VRL, just look at this base. VRL has come back down to all of these areas of demand. And right now, I think this is a value buy. And now if you look at the base, I think if the base breakout happens, I think there's a good chance that it starts to move towards these highs almost in a month or maybe 2 months. On a short-term basis, I think a spike all the way till this high, 13-14%, I think until 660, 670s is very doable. Next up, we've got Syncom, formulations. Now, this is like a penny stock, not exactly something that has a lot of liquidity, but from a setup structure, I think this is a great name. NDL Ventures, again, a very, very good tight little base with a volume dry up coming back, towards these areas of demand, liquidating these lows. So it's like a textbook setup, but again, this is not something which is very liquid, so I would recommend you to avoid this. Now, Kitex Garments is something that we had, on our track list for quite some time, and it did try to move, but the closing was again a little, weak, so it was kind of a bummer. But if it starts to move again from this place, I think there's a good move. Now, the most favorite, stock from the entire list has to be Kansai Nerolac. Now, crude has matured in its pricing, and all that impact of, crude oil going up, margins declining, all of that I think is gone. And we've seen paint stocks do decently well. And I think Kansai Nerolac is probably ready to explode. Now, earnings coming up tomorrow. So I think that there could be fireworks in this name. Next up is Nectar Life Sciences, another pharma name setting up really tightly in a base. LIC is my second favorite name. And I've been talking about this in the previous episode as well. LIC is just crazy. I think this is just setting up to explode and we could see another all-time high. Tata Motors. Today, auto stocks did extremely well because almost all auto companies beat expectations with their monthly sale numbers. Now, M&M also has a catalyst, XUV, 3XO, multiple bookings, very, very good, action. And we've seen M&M do extremely well. And now Tata Motors setting up in a way where I think they're about to launch Tata Curve, which is an announcement almost coming in the next week. And if that happens and booking numbers come up, I think Tata Motors could be setting up for another all-time high. So again, something to watch out for. Next up is Hinduja Global, HGS, and again, a very, very nice structure. So I think this is also something that I'll be, keeping a close track on. RailTel, I think this is one of the legacy names not really did extremely well with all the other telecom companies, but I think this is setting up really nicely to explode. Very nice setup. Amber is another name. We've seen what Voltus has done, right? So I'll just show you Voltus. Same theme, AC companies. And Voltus, I'll just go to the daily, and you've seen what Voltus has done, right? So what an action in Voltus. I think this took everyone by surprise. I think it's chance for Amber to kind of do its thing. Next up is Tilak Nagar Industries, setting up really nicely, and I think there is a trade ongoing currently by one of our analysts, and I think there's a good chance that it starts spiking up. Now, if you remember, we spoke about Tilak Nagar Industries when it was currently trading here, spiked up, contracted again, moved up, contracted again, and I think this is another base over base Darvas kind of a play, which could again explode. So, very nice. Happy Forgings, we already have a position in this. So it's a disclaimer. As a SEBI registered research analyst, we've already called this out to our clients, and I think Happy Forgings is a recent IPO name, creating a nice structure. Volumes are dead and dried up. So I think maybe 1 or 2 days more of contraction, and I think we could see like a nice move in this. Next up is V-Guard. Now, V-Guard was, a name which was kind of a laggard in this entire industry. But just look at the base it has created. And right now, there is enough room for it to start moving higher. Volumes dried up. Supply is absorbed. So I think this could be an interesting name. Next up is Alpha Laboratories, another pharma name. Lots of supply on the left side. Not the favorite setup, but from a technical standpoint, it's doing decent. Arman Financials. Now, I think from the SME space, this is like a darling because this stock made like a massive move in the starting of 2023. And right now, it's basing nicely. Could be a good one, but again, it has to be seen on how it performs. Jindal Steel, very nice contraction from the large cap space. GIPCL, another setup in the making. Electric utilities, we've seen what NTPC has done, we've seen what REC has done, we've seen what PFC has done. So I think GIPCL could also be an interesting name. Balakrishna Industries, one from the tire name, and I think this is one of the most underrated tire stocks. I think the base is pretty much ready. If tire stocks like Apollo maybe starts moving, I think this could also have some action. Shalimar Paints, another paint stocks. We've seen Kansai and Aerolac again setting up in a very similar fashion. Stock has practically given no returns, I think, from the time it did its IPO. Yeah, I mean, it opened around 68-ish. Stock has just been basing no wealth creation at all. So it's a weak name from that standpoint. But the structure is pretty average, okay structure. So we'll see how it works. Share India Securities, again, a very nice structure. I would wait for 1 or 2 more days of contraction. Could be a nice one. Radico Khaitan, from the alcohol space, I think very nice base build up over here. Could have some action. The last time it did so, just look at the move over here. I think the stock moved up about 20% in about 11 days. This wick could be a concern, but again, it's pretty interesting. Sunflag, lots of supply on the top, rejection, so I'll just ignore, showing this to you. ISMT also, it's still under preparation. Vedant Fashions. Now, one of the stocks which was supposed to create a lot of wealth is currently trading back at the IPO listing price, almost equal to that. And it has like a very strong positioning. Base buildup is nice. So if you don't have a position in this stock has a potential to kind of do really well because of its positioning in the ethnic wear category. But I think 1 or 2 more days of bullish action is required. I think earnings were there on 30th of April. Earnings were decent, but not a lot of reaction. So I think if a base build-up sets up nicely, I think this could be an interesting one. And the last one with me is VRL Logistics, which for me is again my third favorite name because the action today was quite great. Now, if I talk about what Nifty and Bank Nifty are likely to do, I'll just quickly cover that up. So I think Nifty 50, I think there is a good chance that we are going to see a correction because we are trading right at the, at the opening gates of the supply, which led to a previous fall of about 1,000 points, if I'm not wrong. Yes, exactly 1,000 points. And now I think this is again reacting to the same supply. Liquidity crapped over here, tapping in. We've got a reaction. We've got a pullback, and I think we are headed towards the downside. So I think this is a very big possibility, and we might just kind of liquidate this low as well. And that's where my target is. Again, a disclaimer. I already am short on Nifty. If you're planning to take this position, make sure that you're doing your own due diligence, and this is not a recommendation. Next up is Bank Nifty, and we've seen what Bank Nifty has done again. So Bank Nifty again wicking out over here, a very bearish candle coming in over here. We've seen that after this fall, Bank Nifty wasn't able to kind of sustain, didn't create a new high. All the supply exists over here, so I think Bank Nifty can kind of dump as well. Now, the biggest heavyweights of Bank Nifty, I'll just quickly check them out as well. This is HDFC Bank on the daily. Not exactly looking great. ICICI Bank has already had its run up, and currently this is also into the pullback stage. And I will also open the other elephant in the room, which is State Bank of India, which is again kind of hovering around the highs. So Bank Nifty not that bearish, but I think Nifty is kind of weak, and my Nifty analysis is always incomplete without checking up Reliance Industries, which looks pretty tad bit weak right now, and I think there could be a good chance it comes back down into this area. So I think Reliance has a lot of time to kind of consolidate, which would mean that Nifty is not going to go any higher. And as far as technicals are concerned, Nifty is probably looking for at least a 500-600 point fall, maybe in the coming few weeks. So that's it from my side. If you like this research and content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, drop in a comment, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. All the best for your trading week ahead. Thank you. Take care and bye-bye.